Hi, I'm Mike Wallace with a sensational shortening discovery for better baking and frying. It's Procter & Gamble's Golden Fluffo, the first all-new shortening in 40 years. It's rich. Its color is golden yellow, and what a pie it makes. Richer looking, better tasting, more appetizing.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the show. That's right, it's your old friends from Houston County News, Messenger Podcast here. I'm Greg Ritchie, Messenger Reporter. It's so good to have you there. Coming up on today's show, boy, we've got a show for you. We are going to be talking about some of what's on the ballot, because I've had some people come up and ask if there's some kind of a voter guide. We don't really endorse anything, but we can certainly go over it and talk about some of that stuff. Also, you may have seen in the newspaper, we have some big news, and I don't really know quite what it means yet. But we're going to go over what we found and let you decide what it might mean or not mean. And back on the show, of course, Miss Kendall Hickson. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm pretty good. It has been a rough week. Let me just start with that.
Okay.
You may have noticed the podcast didn't come out Sunday morning last week.
I did notice that. I was going to ask you about it. What's up?
Well, so, I was doing the whole file.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people don't understand what goes into this. I mean, the cameras, the lights, and then, of course, I have to go back and spend 6 to 8 hours more putting together the little things, and I want the jokes to look right and making little commercials. And so I was almost finished. I was at the stage where I put the names. As a matter of fact, we put a name right here where it says Kendall Hickson. You see that? I was doing that. I mean, I was done. And I went out to grab a cup of water. The dog gets lonely when I work so long, so I gave him a little. And when I came back, the file had closed. And I thought, okay, silly computer.
Yeah.
And I try to open it again, and it doesn't open.
Oh, no.
So the file that hosts this show is massive.
Uh-huh.
Because if you think about it, if I talk to the sheriff, and you know how this works, the sheriff comes in, have a seat or anybody, we get the cameras going. It takes a minute. My wife adjusts things. Well, you might have a 30-minute video file, high HD video file for that camera on him, on you right now.
Oh.
The camera on me, that's a separate 30-minute HD file.
Oh.
The microphones we use create their own audio file. So you can imagine how over time, now we may not use the 30 minutes, we may only use 10, but the file keeps it all in case I want to use it later. Well, the hard drive I had it on died. It just said, nope, I'm not going to do this anymore. I not only lost the show we did last week, I lost everything. Everything we've ever done since we started. Every commercial, every little intro. I mean, it was gone. And from what I could find out, it was probably gone forever.
Oh, my gosh.
And I sat there looking at the computer and I thought, I could just sit here and cry.
Yes.
Because I really wanted to. Haven't cried in decades, but I just looked at it and I blinked and I thought, maybe this is the time. It's good for maybe every few decades a man to just let it out.
Yes.
And then I thought, no. I will just throw the computer out the window.
Oh, yep. Good option.
That was my second option. And I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not even joking. I was just like, and I didn't say them out loud, but I definitely thought some naughty, naughty words. And then the cat comes over meowing, and I thought, well, I'll just drop kick the cat into a wall, let out some of,
Let out some emotions.
So finally, I just said, well, that's it. I've wanted to do this forever. I've had stops and starts where I try to do it different places. Lost a leg in the meantime. This was just the loss of everything. And I thought, I don't have it in me to start again. I'm done. Honestly, I'm done. I'll write the little newspaper. I don't care. And then I figured out that there might be a way to fix it.
Oh.
And the way to fix it, I needed a special cable to basically, I don't even want to get into the woods on this, but basically you need a special cable.
Okay.
The cable is $12.
Oh.
I thought, okay, there's hope.
Yeah.
Hey, internet, where can I get this cable? Is it here locally to the closest place? Woodlands, Texas.
Oh,
So I drove to the Woodlands
you did?
that very day.
Oh.
I got up and I told the wife, I said, we're going to the Woodlands. And she said, can we get some of that weird whatever Korean or whatever she eats? And I said, yes, but quick. And went and bought a $12 cable, brought it all the way home. And in order to install the cable, you have to open the back of this little hard drive. It's about
Okay.
so big. And I'm only going into this kind of detail just because you could just imagine. I finally get back. Here's the cable. Everything's ready. And there are 4 little screws. 1, 2, 3. The 4th one had been stripped at the factory. Wasn't coming out. So now this entire project and my sanity are now being held in check by a screw that cost maybe 2 or 3 cents. So I sighed again and I said, you know what? I'm going to sleep. And I just let it sit there. The next day, Kelly Nickel, who you know, owns a newspaper, I told him about what was going on. He asked where the podcast was, and I said, oh, we got a little Dremel. We got to open it. So then this is early Monday morning. Get it open, plug it in. The file's still there. And I thought, okay, now I'm going to move this to a cloud or something.
Yeah.
Keep it safe forever. So I move it to the cloud, and it says, remaining time, 4 days. Actually, it said 72 days. But it wasn't until Wednesday evening that the file had transferred, and I was able to really for sure click on it and open it and know that nothing had been lost.
Oh.
So it's funny, when you came in this morning, you said, hey, how are you doing? I said, better now.
Yeah.
One of those weeks.
You've had a run for your money. Woo.
Telling you what. Folks, we got a good show coming up for you. Stick around. Things are better now. I'm in a better mood. I don't look like I'm in a better mood because I was born with what they call a face for radio. But stick around. We've got some good stuff coming, and we'll be back after this.
Hello, I'm Chris Dykes, Republican candidate for Houston County Treasurer. I'm a lifelong resident and currently serve as Houston County's Human Resource Administrator. With 19 years experience in human resources, payroll administration, and financial management, I understand the accuracy, accountability, and transparency this office demands. During my time with the county, I've already delivered measurable results, including saving more than $85,000 in employee benefits and negotiating a $4,000 deductible down to just $500 this year. If elected, I will move my human resource duties and department into the treasurer's office, eliminating the need for a separate $75,000 a year human resource budget and saving Houston County over $300,000 in a 4-year term. That's effective government and responsible stewardship of taxpayers' dollars. Houston County deserves proven, experienced leadership. Election Day is coming on Tuesday, and I respectfully ask for your support and your vote. Thank you.
Houston County, Texas is a lot of things. It's our amazing cities and towns, Davy Crockett National Forest, and our fields and streams. It's cattle and lumber, manufacturing and tech support. It's national brands and mom and pops. It's our churches and it's our schools. For many of us, Houston County is home. Come visit us and see for yourself what makes this place special. Houston County, first in Texas history, first in our heart. And now it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show.
Houston County Sports!
Good morning. With your Houston County News Sports Update, I'm Peyton Pierce. Playoff basketball is officially underway, and several teams from our area are competing this week in the boys' postseason. The Crockett Bulldogs will face Hitchcock at 8 p.m. Tuesday at New Caney High School. The Grapeland Sandies will take on La Pointer at 7 p.m. Tuesday at New Summerfield High School. Kennar will play Spurger at 7:30 p.m. Tuesday at Zavala High School. Latexo faces Martins Mill at 6 p.m. Tuesday at Jacksonville High School. Lovelady will compete against Frankston at 6 p.m. Tuesday at Rusk High School. And the Slocum Mustangs play Covington at 7 p.m. Monday at Crossroads High School. In girls playoff action, the Grapeland Sandyettes and the Lovelady Lions both saw their seasons come to an end in the 2A Division II playoffs this week. Both teams competed with heart throughout the season, and we congratulate them on representing their schools and communities well. All remaining boys teams are working toward a spot in the state tournament, which will be held March 12th through 14th in San Antonio. Check out the messenger this week as local high school senior Benjamin Burke is the first one in our area to sign to fish at LSU Shreveport. With your Houston County News Sports Update, I'm Peyton Pierce. Catch you next week.
My name is Tiffany Harrison Byers. I was asked to run for the county treasurer's position. I have been doing this work already with Dick Murkison in his office. I was hired there in 2013. We do for a lot of businesses in town and the community, and we also take care of a lot of clients. We take care of their tax preparation, bookkeeping, reconciliations, accounts receivable, accounts payable, sales tax. I correspond a lot with the IRS on behalf of my clients, and I'm blessed to have the trust that they have in me. I would look forward to earning your support for this election. Early voting is already underway, and I would look forward to serving you, and I'm ready to. Thank you.
Do you ever feel like there's something you're missing? Does it seem like everyone knows something you don't? Do you want to know more about what's going on around you? The good news is we can help.
Did you know that for only $40 a year, you can get a digital subscription to the Messenger newspaper? That's local news, sports, feature stories, and some corner or some Greg or something. $40 a year, that's less than a cup of coffee a month. That's less than an addiction to prescription medication. Now you'll be the one who knows everything. Visit our website for your digital copy, or a print copy, or both. Visit messenger-news.com to sign up.
Well, folks, welcome back to the show. You know, I asked our guest we had lined up for this week if they wouldn't mind coming back next week because I wanted to take a minute and just kind of go over this story that you've seen in the newspaper last Thursday and again today, Sunday, of some of the investigations we've been having into the Crockett Housing Authority. And you have to excuse me, I even made some notes just to kind of keep this clear, but I wanted to kind of talk you through not what this means or could mean or does mean or doesn't mean, because I don't know. This is a big story. And it could be that I got a fact wrong. Somebody gave me a fact wrong, and I was correct in that they told me this, but this, whatever this could have been, wasn't true. There may be a completely rational explanation for some of the information and documents we found. And I would love to hear it. I reached out to, I think, the board chairperson, and she hung up on me. Not mean. She wished me a good night, but she hung up on me. Okay, that's fine. That's her right. I don't deny that. I reached out to the vice chairperson, Miss Pam Wells, who I don't think I know personally, or we've met a few times. And have not gotten a response. Fine, that's fine. The vendor involved, when I called him, we spoke for a couple minutes. I mentioned a name that I'd found in the documents. He hung up on me. Now, I'm not saying that they're hanging up or not answering because they have anything to hide. They may have nothing to hide. I've never insinuated anybody's hiding anything or doing anything that they shouldn't be. I'm saying, this is what we found. Can you help me understand it? Can you help me explain it in a way that, if that's your case or your version, shows you're not hiding anything. So I want to get away from this whole thing because, every time I come out with certain stories or certain investigations, well, he's biased. Well, he's racist. That's the new one these days. Everybody's a racist. Well, he just this, he just that. Look, I heard about a whistleblower at Crockett Housing Authority, and I spoke to her. The words she said, you can read the newspaper. There they are. They'll be in the Grapeland Library for 200 years, all right? I don't walk away from anything there. But as we looked into it further, boy, it started to get a little prickly. So the way this all started was there was a job over the holidays, just last Christmas, New Year, to renovate the office at the Crockett Housing Authority in Crockett. Fine. They had some flood damage, had some carpet, some sheetrock need to get out. The executive director felt, we can do some things now, really got to do the bigger stuff, the more expansive stuff, we can wait till spring. But she claims several of the board members said, no, we're going to do this now. So they give the job, one bidder for the job, they give him the job, he starts on the job, doesn't finish. The first beat after New Year, there's a board meeting, and he goes, oh, by the way, here's a change order for an additional $36,000. It was a $79,500 job, and he says, oh, no, I need another $36,000. Now, change orders as such happen all the time. If you're putting in sheetrock and you didn't allow for sheetrock nails, well, no, you should have put that. But if you open the sheetrock up and there's some, crazy 100-year-old thing you have to move, well, you couldn't have expected that. And, most cities even have rules about any change orders. It can't be more than this percent or something. So how does this normally work? The housing authority, in this case, decides, here's the job we need done. They go to their maintenance manager. They say, make a plan for this. Sometimes you need engineering. You have to pay people to make these plans. If the city of Crockett wants to move water lines and do streets, they can't just have somebody at the city come up with the plan. County commissioners on roads sometimes. You need surveys. So the Crockett Housing Authority says, this is what we want people to bid on, right? No price, no range of price, usually. Here it is. And they put it out in the public. They put it in our newspaper, for example. Fine. People look at it, they have so many days to bid, and they either bid on it or they don't bid on it. In this case, there was one bidder and he got the job. Now, that's not anything unusual. It does happen, especially if the job is, over 10, 11 days over the Christmas holidays, got to be done, or you, Mr. Vendor, are going to have to pay for it afterwards. So he brings the change order in, and I'm going to be showing you some of these documents as I talk here. First of all, because anything other than my face is on the screen is always better. But I want you to see, I'm not, making any of this stuff up. Most of what's on the change order was already in his original bid or was stuff they didn't ask for. And a 46% increase in a change order like that, I mean, I made a point to talk to county officials, city officials, school officials. Have you ever heard of anything even close to this? No. So the executive director and the maintenance manager look it over, and they determine that out of the $36,000 this man is asking for, less than $2,500 is actually acceptable, which is pretty close to what you would normally tend to see in these kind of interactions. Yeah, we understand the vendor, he didn't see this, or we didn't see that. And he goes, look, this wasn't in your bid. I can fix it while I've got the wall open or whatever. It's an extra $2,500. And then, the Crockett Authority would decide, or whoever. So the executive director and the maintenance manager, they push back. They go, this isn't right. This isn't normal. The maintenance manager told me he was specifically asked to stay out of it. So when a bid like this would come in, it was for basically $80,000. He would normally do kind of his own internal bid. Okay, I don't know this part, but I know what sheetrock costs, and I know what 2x4s and this and that. He thought it should have costed about $50,000. Okay, we're not saying that the man that did the construction from Houston did anything wrong. Maybe he noticed nobody else bid or thought nobody else would bid and jacked the price up and said, well, why not? If they take it, good for me. If not, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I don't know. No speculation here. So they go to the board and they go, no, this is wrong. This change order is insane. And 2 board members, apparently, pressured the executive director, said, no, you're going to sign that check. You're going to sign it right now. And I think this part is speculation, maybe against her better judgment. She gave in to the pressure and said, okay. Now, we go a little bit further. In the new reporting, all that stuff was in Thursday's paper. Now we're taking a step in a little bit deeper in this really confusing situation. Come to find out, one of the board members in particular really wanted the job done. And the executive director said, listen, fine, I'll get some specs drawn up. We, pay some people to do that. We'll get the bid ready. And she says, no, this guy from Houston who eventually got the job, he's been doing a few jobs for us and stuff. He knows his stuff. Let him do the specs. Now, I'm going to pause there for a moment, only because that's unusual. Nothing bad about it or illegal, or I'm keeping this on the level, folks. It is unusual. Somebody that you anticipate might bid for this job, laying out the specs for the job. Maybe could happen. Okay. Then we found out, and again, we have the document. This man not only did the specs, he wrote the actual request for a bid. Not, here's the rough measurements of what you should put in your official request for a bid. He wrote it. I've got the email. It came from his email. So now you've got the man that bid at the end. He came up with the idea, or the specs, excuse me. He made, for the Housing Authority, the actual document. The Housing Authority is going to present theirs as their own, but they didn't make it internally. This man made it. In fact, he didn't just make it, he got paid $2,000 to make it. Now, at the time, the board members told the executive director, hey, that's a good deal. That's less than it would cost us elsewhere. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Again, I'm no expert in those kind of things. I'm not going to speculate. But he was paid $2,000 just to help them make the bid. He was the only one to submit a bid. He got the bid, and then the job went up 46%. Now, all of that, if you take any one of those details by themselves, look, stuff happens, right? Walls fall down. People get paperwork mixed up. None of this is nefarious, taken one by one. The push timeline over Christmas, you have 11 days, basically between the 22nd and January 5th, I think it is, to get this job done. Or you, Mr. Vendor, we're going to penalize you. Now, as of today, or Friday afternoon, let me say, the maintenance manager says the job is still not completely completed. But this man has been paid in full. It's done. Now, you remember that invoice that I showed you for a couple $1,000s? Now, this is a screenshot of it. Now, there's something in computer files called metadata. So if you send a selfie to a friend, me and the wife at the beach, right? Well, they can go into that file and see behind the picture. They can see what the date was, the time of day, maybe a location, maybe what, I'm trying to think, the lens and the flare. There's tons of information that you don't see because you have to know how to get into it. So this Word document of this $2,000 invoice was sent by Mr. Khan, he's the vendor, to the Crockett Housing Authority. Fine. I don't know if that's the normal procedure for the vendor who you figure is probably going to eventually get the deal to actually make the document that you present as yours to get vendor to bid on the deal. Anyway, you look into that metadata, and there's something's a little strange. Something's off. I'll show it to you right now. This is what you see when you see that. Say you've got December 10th for $2,000. I'm still not exactly sure why he's getting paid for this. And that's fine. Now, there's another name at the bottom. Do you see that? You see the time the document was created? 12/17. Let's flip back to when he sent it to the executive director. I FOIA'd the email. 12/20. Now, I'm not a computer expert, and I've asked for others to help me understand this. There's a name on there, which you can see, and that's Lauren Wells. Now, I don't know Lauren Wells. Maybe I've met her. I can't place a Lauren Wells in my brain. I asked the executive director, is she a consultant? Does she work in the office? Does she work with the board? The answer came back no. I asked the maintenance manager, is she someone who helps with construction projects? As far as you know, does she work for Mr. Khan, the vendor? The answer was no. Hey, Mr. Khan.
Yes.
Hey, it's Greg Ritchie from the Messenger newspaper up here in Crockett, man. I'm sorry I caught you on the road the other day. I hope you got wherever you were going safely.
Yes, sir. I'm on the road right now, too. I'm going to the job site.
And on two or three of these documents so far, there's a name Janara Khan, which I suppose is you or a wife or something. And there's a name on here that says Lauren Wells. I don't know a Lauren Wells. Does she work for you? Mr. Khan, can you hear me? Now, there is a similarity you may have noticed between the board chairperson or chairperson at that time, because they flipped seats recently, what I meant to say. And so I reached out to Ms. Wells to try and get some clarity. When I asked Mr. Khan if he was familiar with that name, if that was someone that might work in his office, he immediately hung up. None of this is insinuating absolutely anything. The only question now, and it's a pretty simple one that I hope, folks, I hope and pray there's a simple answer to. I really do. I don't get out of bed in the morning looking to make trouble for anybody. That's not what this is about. But when I find trouble, I'm not going to be shy about asking some questions. And this is the basic question. How would this name get on a Houston vendor's document that he sent to the Crockett Housing Authority? Could be a very simple explanation. I'm all ears. And I doubt anyone from the Crockett Housing Authority board watches our podcast, but my message to them would be, just explain this. Don't hang up on me. Explain it. Say, Richie, you got your wires crossed again. We have a shared computer in the office. Here's all the people that saw everybody working on it. This person happened to be in the office one day, happened to open that file by mistake. Anything. Because this series of events, and not to this old one-legged reporter, folks, but to more serious people who might want to have a look in this, maybe they already have a look in this, it looks way different. And the people that live in the Crockett Housing Authority, whether you agree with that setup and that use of public funds or not, they need help, right? They need help. These are people that need help. And if federal money is coming to help those people, then if I'm already paying for it with my taxes, and by God, it should help those people and not go wherever. I'll make it very clear, I'm insinuating nothing. I'm alleging nothing. All I present to you today is what I found, and I am completely and utterly open to some rational explanations that explain this away. Happy to hear them. Happy to put them on the front page, right? Crockett Housing Authority, confusion explained. It'll be in the next paper. Facebook, anywhere. Not a problem. I'm asking for some clarification. Because on the surface, and I'm not saying there's anything bad here, I'm saying it looks bad. It feels different. And I think the people on that board owe us some clarification, some explanation. The problem with CEIDC wasn't, necessarily these massive crimes. Trust me, I've looked into it. I haven't found the massive crimes. They're not there. I'm just telling you, they're not there. It was the little things. Little things. And little things add up. But what I find in common here is the attitude. This is our board. You stay out of it. This is our board. We do what we want to do. Well, I'm sorry. No, you don't. Everything you do within a very small fraction of difference can be FOIA'd by me, can be looked at by me, can be put in a newspaper. You can't just kick people out of meetings. You can't change the agenda just because you want to. This is not a book club meeting. This is a public entity that takes public funds, and you have to take it seriously. And even though the office might stink of mildew an extra couple weeks over the holidays, you have to do things right. And not because I'm some pencil pusher and stickler for the rules and don't forget to cross your eyes. No. Because that's what you accepted you would do when you took that position. So I'm concerned about this, only because the last thing our little town needs, folks, let's face it, is another scandal. That's not what this is supposed to be. And my suspicions on this story, I've never met the executive director or the maintenance manager. Go over and ask him. Never met him in my life. They're not friends of mine. They're not cousins. I didn't used to date somebody's sister. I wouldn't know them if they fell out of the sky. I'd worry about them. I'd worry where they fell from, but I don't know them. And I'm not here to defend their reputations. There's very strong indication that the Crockett Housing Authority Board wants to fire this executive director. So let me be very clear. Maybe she should be fired. I don't know. I have no opinion on it. No opinion whatsoever. This story isn't about somebody losing their job. Unfortunately, in this world, people get fired sometimes. Somebody else gets hired. It's not up to me to decide that. That's why the board is there. So I'm not trying to defend my old pal. I'm trying to figure out what happened here. Now, somebody getting fired comes in when you say, well, now why is that person getting fired? There may be a million valid, legitimate, documented reasons beyond this that the board wants to fire this person. Fine, that's their right. And fired Monday and twice on Tuesday. Again, I'm not here to defend any of that. But if this triggered the firing or triggered a tightening of discipline or looking for mistakes or something, well, then again, unfortunately, that changes the tone of it. Now it's not just for a lack of competence or experience or too many mistakes or whatever. Now it's something else. And I pray this is just what it is and not something else. Folks, you're going to see a few new commercials this week. A couple of our local political candidates have decided to sponsor the show. If you see them, thank them. They're both great ladies. Vote for whichever one of them. You could help one win like Joe Biden did. Get all your friends at the cemetery to vote for him, right? But I just want to say to both of them to thank them so much for supporting the show and believing in us. And as you see their commercials pop in and out during this week and next week, have a listen. Both of them have some interesting points of view, good things to say, and decide for yourself. Early voting is still going on, and the show will continue after this.
I have a proven record of cutting property taxes. I've done it 4 sessions in a row. Last session, I passed the largest property tax cut in American history, meaning that 1 in every 5 state dollars went towards lowering your property tax bill. I'm Trent Ashby. As your next state senator, I'll keep increasing the homestead exemption, rein in out-of-control appraisals, and put as much money back into your pocket as possible.
At Darling Ingredients, we're more than a company. We're a driving force in transforming materials that others often view as waste into valuable products that feed animals, fertilize crops to fuel trucks and planes, and nourish people across the globe. From sustainable solutions that reduce food waste to innovative materials that shape industries, our work makes a meaningful impact in supporting daily life and demonstrates that sustainability and profitability can go hand in hand. From right here in Houston County to more than 15 countries around the world, with darling ingredients, exactly as nature intended.
Well, folks, I had a couple people come up to me last week, Kendall, and they go, "Are you not going to tell jokes at the end of the show anymore?" Remember I started a couple weeks and
Yes.
we told our stupid little jokes, and I love them not because they're funny, not because they're good, not because they give you a wider world view and make you think I like them because they're stupid. Now, there's some old jokes here, and I don't want to offend anybody, but, old folks like me know about this. You young kids have probably never heard of this. We used to have stuff called Polish jokes.
Okay.
And so Polish jokes were basically, they weren't really against Polish people in particular. For some reason, just the Polish jokes were always showing people doing dumb things. So I'll give you an example. Kendall, did you hear about the Polish man who locked his keys in his car?
No, I did not.
He had to go and get a coat hanger to get his family out. Right? You get that?
That was pretty great.
Yeah. Did you hear about the Polish space program? They said they were going to plan a mission to the sun. Everybody said, "You can't land on the sun. It's hot up there." And they go, "We're going to go at night." Right? Those are Polish jokes.
Okay.
So I want to tell you something that happened to me, because I'm against Polish jokes because they sound almost racist.
Yes.
Because I've known a bunch of Polish people, good people. Some are very smart. But I actually had a run-in I want to tell you about. And the Polish joke thing came up, and it offended me.
Oh, no.
This has been probably about a year ago now. So I go into this place, go to the counter, the man's there, and I order Polish sausage.
Oh.
Right? And he looks at me and he goes, "You must be Polish." And I was like, "Dude, no, wait a minute." Right? Just hang on there, racist. I said, "Just because I come in here and order a Polish sausage, you immediately jump to the fact that I must be Polish?" I said, "What if I ordered a German bratwurst? Would that make me a German? Or a Cuban sandwich? All of a sudden you're going to start thinking I'm some Cuban?" I said, "I am offended by the fact that you think that I must be Polish. Why would you think I'm Polish just because I walk in here and order a Polish sausage?" The man looked at me and said, "Well, for starters, it's a hardware store."
That's pretty great. Well, thank you, Greg, for sharing those wonderful jokes. And we hope that y'all have a great week. And that thank you so much for tuning in this week's podcast. And we hope you watch next week's. And y'all have a blessed day.